Hello, magical experimenters and pop culture magicians. This is Taylor Elwood, your mad scientist and magical experimenter at magicalexperiments.com. And before we get into today's video about my ongoing experiment with developing the temporal consecration prayer, I want to highlight this book called The Tao of Craft by my friend Benabel Wen. It's Food Talismans and Casting Sigils in the Eastern Esoteric Tradition. I just got it, and I'm really excited about it. I just started to work through it, and the content is cool. It really allows you to explore some of the more esoteric aspects of Taoism, and you end up learning some really interesting magical practices. I will do a full review of the book, but if you're interested in picking up the book, there is a link below in the post, and you can, or a link below in the description, and you can click on that and pick it up. Anyway, let's talk about how I come up with magical experimenters. So I've been working, as you know, on developing a temporal consecration prayer, and I talked about the work I'd done with the archangels and how I'd done the drawings. And next week we're going to get into the actual writing of the temporal consecration prayer. But this week I thought I would talk a little bit about how you verify the information that you get. So as you know, I've been working with, one of the archangels I've been working with is Suvuviel. Now I had never heard of Suvuviel before I came across Suvuviel in Temple Magic. And incidentally, a link to this book will also be in the post below, by William G. Gray. Actually, I did see a mention of him in Kabbalistic Concepts, but really that was about the only book, and there was a brief mention, so I didn't really pay much attention to it at the time. So, you know, when you don't have a lot of information, you really have to take some time to verify things and figure out what's accurate. Now, my process of verification is this. I will go and I will connect with a spiritual entity that I don't know a lot about, and I will see what kind of information it provides, and then I will look that information up on whatever available sources there are. Now, like I said, I initially found out about Suvuviel in this book, in the correspondence chart that I showed in one of the earlier videos. But what I did is I stopped reading at that point, the book, until I'd done some work with Suvuviel, because I figured he would probably mention him in more depth, and he does mention him in more depth. And so the work I did really helped me to connect with the fact that, yes, Suvuviel is the archangel of the present. Suvuviel really is he's a neutral kind of archangel, you know, and he's really about the present experience and about seizing the moment. And so once I got that information from him, I read further into Temple Magic, and what I ended up discovering is that, yes, this is in fact the case. But that's exactly what Suvuviel is. That's exactly how he shows up. So this allowed me to verify the information with what someone else had to say and what their experiences were. And I think that when you have that kind of verification process in place when you're working with spirits for a magical experiment, it helps a lot, because then it allows you to determine, it allows you to get out of the fact that it's UPG, you know, your own personal gnosis, and it allows you to actually verify it and see that, in fact, that this isn't just a personal gnosis, that there is something consistent across the board. And we want that kind of consistency when we're working with spirits, because otherwise we've got to worry that it's all in our head. We don't want it to be all in our head. We want to verify it. And the way that we verify it is that we take the time to look up how other people have worked with those resources to discover what is actually going on. This is very important. You always want to see, find out whatever you can about what other people have done. Now, you don't want to necessarily use other people's work as the ultimate standard. You just want to see if there's similarities and also what differences there are. And if there are differences, you know, are those differences a warning bell for you, or are those differences just an indication of something that's more personalized to that practitioner? I think it's a warning bell if the differences are wildly different. But I think if it's I think if the differences are minor, it's probably not a warning bell. It probably is just like, okay, that's their more personalized work with the spiritual entity. So that's just something to keep in mind as you're coming up with your own experiments, at least when it comes to working with spirits. And I'm going to give you an action today, and what I want to know is this. In the comments below, either on Facebook, Google Plus, or on the YouTube here, I'd love for you to actually share with me how you have verified your own experimental work. Like, what do you do to verify the work that you're doing to make sure that it's not just all in your head, that there is some actual basis in reality for what you're doing? All right, so feel free to leave that below, and I look forward to talking with you further. Thanks, and take care.